Good morning. Today I am lime washing the walls in my primary bedroom makeover. If you're not familiar with lime wash, what this is a certain type of lime. It's actual lime paint. And what it does is it gives your walls kind of a subtle look of movement, textured, kind of like this velvety feel, not velvety, but just this old world kind of classic European look. So I am doing mine today. I've done one wall. I have finished priming and now I'm ready to start applying. So I just thought it would be cool to show you this while I do it because it's actually the first time I've ever limed washed walls. And I think it's pretty simple. I think anyone can do it. And it's actually a very inexpensive and easy way to give your space kind of an elevated and expensive look. So that's what we're doing. Hello, thank you for being here. My name is Lena. This is Flipping Gorgeous. If you've just found yourself on my channel for the first time, I am a real estate agent turned primarily stay-at-home mom, DIYer, lover of all things renovation. I have been selling and fixing up homes for nearly 10 years. And about 2 years ago, I walked away from actively selling real estate to focus on renovating my forever home and my 3 small kids. So what you've come into at this point is our primary bedroom makeover. And the room itself, I'll show you, it's already doesn't get, that's all my furniture, a ton, that's my light, because I need light in here because there's not a ton of natural light. So before, when we bought the house, the room was green. The ceiling was green. She took all the light fixtures. It was weird. The light fixtures were like hung above the bed, not in the center of the room. So now we're just trying to lighten and brighten up the space and have it feel kind of like that retreat that you want to be in at the end of the day. Because right now it's just kind of felt like a box. You know, it's not felt like, ooh, our primary bedroom, anything special. So I think this lime paint, it can kind of show you the one wall I did yesterday. Again, the light is not great in here. So let me turn it around and see if you can see. It's very subtle. It's very, very subtle. But can you see the difference between this wall and that wall? That's what we started with the primer. This is the wall that I've already done. And again, this light is not great. It's a rainy day here today, but you can see it has this texture, this movement to it. It's very subtle. I think it's a great technique, again, to give your space kind of that just an upscale, rich feel. And I love Europe. And if I can't live in Europe, I want to kind of feel like I'm there every day. So that's why I've chosen to do this. Okay, so I'm going to show you the technique as I do it. Again, this is the first time I've done it. I ordered the paint from Color Altier. And if you have questions, drop them in the chat. I will definitely try to answer them as I go along. I started painting yesterday, so you can't see, but it's from a company out of San Francisco. And the cool thing was I was able to order samples beforehand. And once I ordered the samples and put them on the wall, I thought I wanted to go with the taupe, but the taupe was just a little too dark. So one thing that was really neat is you can actually get them to do it at 50%. So that's what this is. This is the taupe at 50%. And it's a very thin product. I am using a block brush to apply it. So you can see this is a really huge paintbrush. And my hand was cramping yesterday, so I've got to figure out the right technique for holding it. But this is usually designed for decks and stains, but it's helping give this very natural movement. You don't want to use a small paintbrush, so we're using a big block brush. And the approach that I took yesterday was starting in one of the corners and then working my way inward. Again, you can watch some other videos on this. I've done plaster in the past, so I'm just applying that same technique where you don't want to make brush strokes. It's all in the wrist. It's really about making kind of these smooth, natural movements. You can do it in an X shape. You could do it in a circular shape. I was doing a little combination of both yesterday. So I'm going to move you a little bit so you can see. Whoa! Have you not fall there? And move my lighting because, again, it's very dark in this room. And I'm going to put you there so you can see the corner. One day I'll have somebody that helps me do my YouTube lives, and then I won't be having to move my own stuff. or moderate at the same time. But it's just me, and I've got, let's do a time check. Okay, I've got about an hour till I have to pick my littlest one up from preschool. I don't want to say I've gotten in over my head on this project, but originally I thought I was going to just do the one wall, and now I'm doing all the walls in our bedroom. And we've been displaced out of our bedroom for 6 weeks already because of the bathroom renovation. You can go check out some of my other videos. We completely gutted our primary bathroom, and we've been rebuilding that. And so at the same time, I thought, well, shoot, if we're already out of our bedroom, this is the time for me to make the changes I want to make to it. So I'm dabbing my block brush right now in the lime paint, and I'm going to start from this inside corner and kind of cut in as best as I can. And sorry, this is kind of hard for you to see. And again, I'm just doing kind of these natural, and it's gonna go a little, my block brush is getting on the other one. And I'm just doing, you can do X motions, and again, kind of cutting in. I need a little more on my brush. So it's very subtle. It's a very subtle color. Sorry, I'm realizing you probably can't see that great. Let me see if I can move you a little more to that angle and move this a bit. So again, putting my block brush in the Limewash. I found that it's easiest to work in like 1 foot, 2 feet little area. So again, coming from the top, and again, you don't want it to be too, just kind of going for this natural movement is really what I'm doing. And as it dries, it lightens up. But the goal is to have it look. So when I cut in, got some on the ceiling there. So when you cut in, you don't want to just do a down straight line. When I'm cutting in, I'm kind of, who's calling me? Oh, my dad. My dad is calling me. It's okay, I'll call him right back. He lives with me. He's probably calling to see if he's going to be very sweet and offer to pick my daughter up from preschool. Let me take this real quick. Hey, Dad. Dad. Yes. I am in the middle of painting, and I'm in the middle of doing a YouTube live also. I don't know. I can pick her up, Dad. Okay. Okay. I might be ready to take a break by then. We'll see, but thank you so much for offering. Okay. Okay, bye. So I've never had family live close by. And if you followed me on social media, if you followed me on YouTube, one of the things that we've been doing over the past 2 years is fixing up our forever home. And one of the reasons we bought this property is it has a second home on it. We were able to get 2 acres, and the second home is this 1940s Sears kit house that the original owner who built our house left and didn't tear down, which I was so thankful for them for doing that. It was in rough shape, but when I saw it, I thought, wow, this is a place that our parents could live. And I lost my mom, so family is really the most important thing to me. And the thought of having a space that if anyone ever needed it, we could put them up was just a dream come true. So my dad sold his house. He's remarried. He and my stepmom are living in this 1-bedroom cottage that I fixed up. I have some YouTube videos if you want to go check it out. And so it's just so nice. I've never had family close by. For many years, especially now my kids at the time of this video are 8, 6, and 4. But for the majority of their lives, it's just been my husband and I with no family support. We moved away to pursue his career aspirations, and then where we landed is semi-close to family, but it's not like grandparents down the street. So if anyone ever makes you feel bad about moving to your hometown, do not, or to be closer to family. It's the greatest gift ever. And unfortunately, our society has really made people feel like there's something wrong with you, and it's not. I mean, just having my dad be like, hey, I can pick her up from preschool because he knows I'm in this middle of the project is a major blessing. But I might be tired in a little bit. So, okay, back to the lime washing here. So you can see I'm working and I wish this lighting was better, guys. I'm so sorry, it's so dark. Let me see if that helps at all. I need to go get another light here. You can see I'm just working in little, like 1 to 2 feet areas at the most. That way I can see, and I'm really just trying to cut in on the wet side. I'm doing just kind of this motion here, kind of random. I'm doing some X's, I'm doing some circular, and I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I did 2 coats on the other one, so I'll do a second coat, and it dries much lighter than it looks like on the walls right now. So yesterday I was a bit concerned, like, oh, are you going to be able to see these brush strokes? But now that it's dried, I don't see any of them at all. So get back up on the ladder here, dipping my block brush. Sorry, my phone is like going off this morning. I'm on like a group text message. So I'm trying to work, like here, I worked a little higher than I came in between. That's probably when I got a bit distracted, but this is still pretty wet enough that maybe I can cut in. And then I'll get up. That way I have just kind of an even line of where I'm working to. And if I see anything that looks too brush strokey, I'm just going back over it. Again, I will make an actual tutorial that has this, but I just thought while I was doing it live, it would be cool to show anyone and answer any questions. So I have a lot to answer for, yes. I think what the person was commenting on is I was saying for the first time in my life, we're living close to family. And when I was growing up, I don't know, I even have a friend that's moving to our hometown and she kind of felt like that was a failure. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you have children now. Like, you go be by your village, because a lot of us don't have a village. So I'm very grateful to have a village that's comprised of now family, but people who I also have to pay to be in my village, and I didn't have that for a long time. So that's partly the reason I left my real estate career, just actively selling it. I'm still a licensed agent. I love to talk about real estate. I love teaching real estate, but actually going out and selling real estate was just a little too challenging when my kids were super young and I didn't have anyone to help me with them. But now I'm a YouTuber, which seems a lot more fun. All right, so let's see here if I need to move you. So can we see how that's looking? It's that taupey color. I painted that door too. Let's see, I'm gonna cut in here at the top again. So let's see if you can see it. I'm gonna go around. Again, just trying to work in these little 1 to 2 foot areas. I have a bit here at the floor, so I'm going to use that as my next marker of how far I'm going to go to the end of this bit. And this is really important, especially when you get onto the second coat, because my eye started playing tricks on me yesterday. So again, I'm just cutting in from the ceiling. If you're going to do a little line down, you can. I'm not dragging it at all. I'm keeping the brush pretty flat. When I did plaster before, I would kind of drag it. Oh, see, that got a little dry too soon. I'm getting busy talking. All right, let me see the edge of my thing. That's another thing. You want to work in while, you know, kind of like coming in and cutting into a wet part while you're still on a wet part, because if it dries, you can kind of start to see that. So I'm just making up for that in that area. Going over. Again, you want it to look very natural. So you can just like, I just randomly will sometimes do a circle. You want them going in all different directions. Can do some X's. Again, this color is light and it's pretty forgiving. So when my first wall dried overnight, I didn't see any type of brush marks. If you guys have questions while I'm doing this, please drop them in the chat. Move my ladder here for a second. Such a dark and gloomy rainy day. You can see why I want to make this room lighter and brighter than the green that we had. Because even with the walls now light, this room does not get a lot of natural light. I think a lot of this is kind of eyeing it too. Like if I see where it looks like a brush mark might have been a little heavy, just going back over it. You know, cutting in from the trim. If I do one mark up, then I try to go back over it. Oh, but your hand will cramp. So if anyone's got a good. I didn't skip an area for highs and lows on this one. It doesn't recommend doing that on the ways that I've watched. I don't want it to have, I want it to have a very uniform feel to it. So I don't want any areas to feel darker than lighter. I want it to just be uniform, but subtle enough to see the movement of the lime wash, if that makes sense. I think I'm answering your question. I hope I'm answering it. So for me, just, okay, I made it to that vent, so now I need to go back up to the top where that dries. And again, kind of working in that. And if I just see, just kind of eyeballing it and going over. If I see a brush mark that looks a little too heavy, whoo, again, my fingers are cramping after this. This is really eyeballing it. Like I said, once it dries a lot lighter, and I could barely notice any brush marks or anything from yesterday. Let me look and see. Thanks. Okay. I also did prime the walls first with the manufacturer's recommended primer, which is supposed to give it a unison and uniform base. The walls I had already painted white, so it kind of felt a little silly. But then I noticed once I put the primer on how much lighter the primer actually was than the color on the walls. So we're gonna keep on going over here. Working in. Okay, I'm gonna work to the edge of the second vent now. Get some more primer, some more lime wash on here. That was a lot. So if you get too much, I'm just finding I'm just kind of going over it, swooping it in. I really don't feel like you could mess this up, honestly. Maybe if you had a brighter color, but the taupe, and again, I ordered the taupe at about 50%. Seems to be quite forgiving. All right, so I got a little further side to work at. So again, I'm just trying to use little markers so I come over evenly and consistently. So my foot kind of got marker right now. And I can tape the top of my ceilings, which I highly recommend because it's been making cutting in to the wall a lot easier and not worrying about, because I can just pull that tape off. So I would definitely recommend doing that. I kind of like going in the arch motion. The arch motion has been working well for me. Again, finger cramp. Okay, let's take a coffee break. If you have any other questions, ask them now while I'm down from the ladder for a minute and taking them. Okay. I will tell you, you work up a sweat doing this though. Like, okay, let me move this so you can see a little further down. Okay, let's go down here. So you can see here's my mark. So I'm gonna try to cut in from where I had finished last time. Moving in. And if my brush marks overlap, I kind of, like I said, just going back and doing an arch motion. Any other questions? The X motion is good too. I think that looks a little brush strokey to me, so I'm just gonna go over it. And again, this is just my first coat. So we'll do the second coat. Going back up again, turn it this way. So this is the smallest wall in the room. So I figured I would do my live on the smallest wall to show you guys just the technique and how it goes. These are 11-foot ceilings, so like I said, my arm is getting a little bit tired. But the wall that's dried is already, it just makes me feel happy. It's already just giving me that kind of, like vacation vibes. That's what I want to feel like when I'm in my forever home, that I'm on vacation. I could vacation anywhere in the world. I would vacation in Italy. Tell me where you would vacation if you could vacation anywhere in the world or live anywhere in the world. Okay, I'm going to back this up a bit. Cutting in again from the top here. I'm going to just, since this wall is almost finished, I'm going to go all the way to the door frame. Oh. I can't see it that far. Let me see if I can move it a bit so you can see how I'm cutting in from the ceiling a bit more. Again, I'm using Limewash from color. Oh, I can't pronounce it. Atelier, Atelier, Ulterior. I don't know, maybe. But that is a lime paint that I'm using. It is 50% lighter than the taupe shade, so if you order it off of Amazon, I don't think you can adjust the shade percentage, so I went directly through their website. And I do recommend ordering the samples first. I'm painting all this trim too, so if I get a little on there, it's okay. I'll touch it up. And again, your eyes can start playing little tricks on you as it starts to dry of where did I finish off. See if I can get it. Oh, shoot, I'm still short. I thought I could reach up there, I can't. So again, cutting in from the wet side where I finished off. Ladder angle is not the best. stepped on. All right. Okay, so we are almost finished up with this wall. And I'm gonna take a little break because my hands are getting tired. That's the only thing I will say is it's not that time consuming. It's just a little labor intensive because you're constantly moving your arm like in that motion. So my hand needs a little break. It's a little crampy. Well, I started from the other side, didn't I? Lost my train of thought there. But let's cut in from here now. Where I should have cut in from the side that was wet. Okay. Any questions before I hop off up here to take a little break? This smaller wall is taking me about 30 minutes. Again, they're really tall ceilings. I'm thinking the whole, and I have to split my projects up because again, I have small kids. So really the time that I get to work on them is when they're at school or, my husband is home on the weekends. I would love to get this done this weekend so we can get back in our room because the bathroom is pretty much finished now except for the trim painting that I need to do in there. So yeah, I'm gonna take a little break, let the first coat dry. Yesterday I waited how many hours in between the coats? I'm trying to think, but that was more just a product of my day. My kids got home, I stopped working on it, and then right after dinner, I did like another 30 minutes to an hour. So I'm hoping this whole project, the whole room, I can get done again, because I don't do it all at once. I'm thinking the number of hours that's going to take to get into here. I've already spent 3 today, like 10, maybe 10 hours to paint the whole room. And that includes doing the priming, letting it dry, and all of the walls, because it's a pretty large room. Like it's a 22 feet by, I think like 14. But yeah, oh gosh, sorry, I keep stepping on this bubble wrap. But again, I'll show you this angle so you can see again the little dry technique. Get my light here so we can actually see. So that's the non-wall, and that's the wall. There you go. What was the cost of these products? Let me think. The primer was actually much more expensive than the actual Limewash itself. I want to say the primer was pretty expensive, like $80 a gallon for the primer. Now, you do not necessarily have to prime on walls that are already painted. It was just recommended. And since this was the very first time I was doing the technique, I just wanted to do it the way they recommended. The paint itself, I want to say a gallon was around $50. And I think a gallon is all I need for this room. Again, it's very thin. So all in all, $150, but I'm not paying anyone else to do it. So I think for the technique and what it's going to look like at the end is well worth it. I would have spent more if I would have done trim, or especially if I would have hired someone to do this. So thank you for being here. Please go check out my channel, my other videos. Tell me what you want to see, and I'll keep you guys updated on how the projects go. Have a great one.